everybody, how you doing? Welcome to Bones Collector. A couple of weeks ago I did a video about my top 10 dice games, and I'm going to do another video right now called Top 10 Euro Dice Games. And the distinction between the two is my favorite dice games have a lot of dice. You know, you're rolling dice and the main mechanism in the game is dice. And in these games, these top 10 games I've got coming right now, the dice is just one of the mechanisms in the game. It isn't the main function, but it's just something that you're going to do during the game. And the reason why I love these 10 games is because the dice that you're rolling, a 6 isn't always great and a 1 isn't always bad. And that's what I really love about Euro dice games. The dice always have a function, and I really love that about these Euro dice games is that if you're a bad dice roller, you can still do very well in these games. And these 10 games I got to tell you about, I'm going to tell you right now, they're 10 of my most favorite games in the world, and they're in my library and I don't see them leaving anytime soon. So here they come at you, my top 10 Euro dice games. Okay, I have a couple of games that I need to mention as honorable mention games, and one of them is Adventures of Marco Polo and the other is Lorenzo Il Magnifico. Lorenzo Il Magnifico came out in 2016, designed by Flaminia Blasini, Virginio Gigli, and Simone Luciani. Plays 2 to 4 players in 60 to 120 minutes. Lorenzo the Magnificent was one of the most powerful and enthusiastic patrons of the Italian Renaissance. Each player takes the role of the head of a noble family trying to accumulate the most prestige and fame. And you only roll 3 dice in Lorenzo, and all of your actions revolve around those 3 dice. When you roll them, you have family members that you're going to assign that are going to be equal to the roll on those dice. I think there's a black, a white, and an orange, and so you're going to assign those family members around the board to do different things, and it's really a rich and complex game, so it's an excellent board game. The Voyages of Marco Polo came out in 2015. It's also designed by Simone Luciani and Daniel Tassini. 2 to 4 players, 40 to 100 minutes playtime. These guys also designed Tzolk'in the Mayan Calendar, which is an amazing game too. But in Marco Polo, players embody one of the many people who worked with and around Marco Polo during his travels. You start in Venice, and the choices you make affect your journey. By the way, there's 26 colorful dice in this game, Marco Polo. And the thing that makes Marco Polo amazing is the players have asymmetrical powers. So you're not all going to be playing under the same rules. I mean, it will determine exactly how you play the game. And that makes it a rich game. Both of these games are magnificent, and that just gives you an idea about what's going to be in the top 10. Okay, and coming in at number 10, the first game on our Euro Dice Game Countdown is Coimbra. It came out in 2018, designed by Flaminia Blasini and Virginio Gigli, and it plays 2 to 4 players, 60 to 90 minutes. And I played this game at Dice Tower Cons for the first time last year, and I knew immediately that I loved it and I had to have it, and I did. I went out and got it. As the head of one of Coimbra's wealthy houses, you seek to earn prestige during this prosperous era. Coimbra introduces a unique mechanism wherein the dice drafted by the players will be used multiple times every round in various aspects of decision making, and there are many paths to victory. There are 13 colorful dice in here, and when you roll those dice, you're only going to choose 3 of them. So, and before you even choose a dice, you have so much to think about. So I caught myself so many times just sitting there for minutes thinking, which dice do I want to choose? Because you have to think about the color, because the color triggers one of the tech tracks that are going to give you some benefit. And you have to think about, what do I want to do? What color do I want to choose? And then also, how many pips on the die do I need? You have to think about that, where you want to go, what what size dice you want and what color die you want to trigger one of those tracks during the income phase. And so that gets really, really interesting to think about. And again, you'll catch yourself sitting there taking your turn, and before you can even choose a dice, you have so much to think about and what's going to happen. This game is so rich, so amazing. Coimbra, you'll love it. Okay, number 9 on our Euro dice game countdown is Grand Austria Hotel. Grand Austria Hotel came out in 2015. The designer is Flaminia Blasini and Simone Luciani. It plays 2 to 4 players in 60 to 120 minutes, and I always play it 2 players, so it ends up being about 90 minutes. That's a pretty accurate time frame. But right in the thick of the Viennese modern age, exquisite cafes are competing for customers. Aspiring artists, important politicians, and tourists from all over the world are populating Vienna are in need of a hotel room. Players hire staff, fulfill the wishes of guests, and gain the emperor's favor. Only then will your cafe become the Grand Austria Hotel. And this game has a unique mechanism in it. You're going to roll the dice, and it's got a pretty little board with the front desk of the hotel on it, which is really cute. And you lay those dice on the board according to what pips are on them, what numbers are on them, and then players take turns picking the dice and taking that action. It has a unique turn mechanism also, where the first player goes fourth and first, and the second player goes second and third. So that's really cool too. I really like that part of the game. And it has an emperor track that kind of punishes you if you don't achieve a certain point total on the emperor's track. So it's really a fun game with a lot of very difficult decisions. I love this game. You will too. It's one that's going to stay in my collection for a very long time. Actually, I don't ever see it leaving. It is so much fun. Again, such tough decisions as you play along in this game. Beautiful artwork on the cards, and I think you'll really enjoy it. That's Grand Austria Hotel. And number 8 on our Euro dice game countdown is Pulsar 2849 by Vladimir Suki. And it came out in 2017. It's for 2 to 4 players and plays in about 60 to 90 minutes. It is the year 2849, and humanity has harnessed the power of the pulsars. Players explore space, claim pulsars, and discover technologies that will help them build energy distribution infrastructure on a cosmic scale. There are 9 silver dice and 1 red die in here, the red die being a bonus die. So first of all, when you roll those dice, before you even choose them, it has a unique thing where it has a pointer that goes in the middle of the dice as you place them on their value spaces on the board. If you chose to the left of the marker, you move your turn order marker to the left. If you chose to the right of that marker, you would move your turn order marker to the right. Each player has 2 of them, so they're going to be jockeying around for position. You could find yourself going first and second in turn order because of that, or you could be going second and third, or first and third, or whatever, wherever your markers end up because of where you're choosing those dice. So that's very important. And then also there's another technology track that you can move your markers on, where you receive energy cubes of some sort, but those are very important for buying extra actions. So with just choosing a dice to the left or right of that marker has a great impact on the game. And you have to think about that when you're choosing your dice, because you want those energy cubes to buy extra actions. So that's something that you can think about. It's a beautiful game. I will say this about it: it's a table eater. It's just hard to see across to the other side of the board. But yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful game. It's an excellent game, but sometimes that can be a little bit challenging because of the size of it and the scope of it. But a great game design by Vladimir. Does it again. I mean, I have Shipyard by him and Last Will, and those are both beautiful games also. But this one, Pulsar 2849, beautiful Euro dice game. He integrated that dice mechanism into this game in a beautiful fashion. You'll love it. Go play it first chance you get if you haven't already. Number 7 in our Euro dice game countdown is Lagron, a game developed and designed by Andreas Odendahl and Michael Keller. Came out in 2014. It plays 1 to 4 in about 90 minutes, it says on the box, but I don't think it took us that long. And in Lagron, you're going to develop farms and deliver goods to the village market stalls and craft buildings. Now, one thing I am going to say about Lagron, right off the top of this discussion, is it's going to take you 2 or 3 times to play this game to really develop a feel for the strategy. It's pretty complex. It has a learning curve. The beautiful thing about Lagron that I love the most is the player board and the way the card mechanic works. The cards in Lagron, you can play them 4 different ways on your player board, and I just love that. You can play them on the right hand side of your board and get one effect, on the left hand side of the board and get a different effect, and on the top of the board it's going to be your wheelbarrow that you're going to fill with goods, and on the bottom of the board it's going to be a helper that's going to give you some kind of special benefit throughout the remainder of the game. So it's really a tough choice to make when you're taking a card, because you only get to play 1 a turn. Man, I tell you, there's a lot of tough decisions in this game. Lagron is a game that doesn't get a lot of pub, but I'm telling you what, in 2018 there might have been 4 or 5 games that are as good as this game, and I can't imagine this game not being in someone's gamer's collection, because it is really I don't know, electric. It's a very good game. It will put you through your intellectual paces and really get inside your head. I love it. You'll love it. And give it a shot. It's a dice drafting game. When you roll the dice and put them on the board, or every number on the die has a certain action, and you're just going to draft those between players, and the last dice that's left on the board, you both get that benefit. So it's just a really good dice drafting game, Lagron. We got some ducks walking by. Should we show the ducks? Let's show the ducks. Number 6 on our Euro dice game countdown is Cinerea. It came out in 2015, and the designers are Andrea Chiaravesio and Pierluca Zizzi, and I'm sure I pronounced those names wrong, but they did a terrific job with this game. It plays 2 to 4 players in 90 to 120 minutes, usually about an hour for 2 player. When Lori and I play, it's usually about an hour. But during the 15th century, Italy was a country full of intrigue and magnificence. She played the role of a lord of one of the most prestigious families of the Renaissance. Dice in 5 colors are rolled at the beginning of each round. 1 at a time, players choose 1 die from the common pool, place it on their player board, and perform the corresponding action. So there's 20 colorful dice in this game. And I'm telling you, it's pretty cool game. It's by What's Your Game, which does a fabulous job with board games. And I have Railroad Revolution and Zhang Guao, also by that same publisher, and both those games are amazing, and this one is also amazing. But when you take those dice, the thing about the dice mechanic in this game, on your player board, those 5 colors have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on your player board. But if you choose a die that's, say red is number 3, when the dice are rolled from the common pool, if you choose a red die that's a number 1, you have to pay the difference, the $2 difference, to go up to the number 3. So every time you choose that dice, you have to think about not only the color of the dice, but how many pips are on that dice, because you have to pay. And the reason why that's important is because you have a 13-point threshold. So on your player board, I think you're allowed a maximum of 4 dice chosen from the common pool, and generally you choose about 3, but take my word for it, it's hard to stay under 13 pips total in the 3 or 4 dice that you use. So that's the challenge of the game. And then of course you take actions corresponding with where you put those dice on your player board. So it's an amazing game, just a ton of fun. Cinerea is the name of it, and it's got a pretty board, pretty dice. It's fun to roll those dice, and it plays wonderfully from 2 to 4 players. So yeah, I think it's something that you really love. It's a great game, Cinerea. Hey everybody, we're at number 5 on our Euro dice game countdown, and it is Stefan Feld's Oracle of Delphi. Now, Oracle of Delphi came out in 2016. It's for 2 to 4 players, and it plays in about 70 to 100 minutes, so it says on the box. I don't think it really takes that long, but it is a thinker. And this is pick up and deliver, and I really like pick up and deliver. In this game, you're charged by Zeus to complete 12 tasks. And these individual tasks include like building temples, and then you're going to pick up offerings and deliver those offerings to the temples. You're going to raise statues. And while you're doing that, you're going to be moving around the board and try to calculate in your mind the most efficient way to do that. And it has 12 dice in it, oracle dice, a monster dice. You're going to battle monsters, by the way. So that's one of the things you're going to do, is defeat 3 monsters. But the first one to complete those 12 tasks and get back to Zeus wins the game, and you get to go have a party with Zeus. So he's got this contest going on to see what human is worthy to come up and visit with him in Olympus. So that's Oracle of Delphi, and it's a wonderful pick up and deliver game. As I said before, the dice, when you roll them, go on your player board, and you do the action associated with those icons that are on those pretty dice. And you're not stuck doing those. There are some ways to mitigate that. If you have something you rolled you didn't want, there are some favor tokens where you can change the position of those dice and move them around that oracle to take a different action. But man, Oracle of Delphi is an amazing game. A TMG, Tasty Minstrel Games, a shout out to them for a wonderful production in this game, and I really like Tasty Minstrel. They do a wonderful job producing board games. But yeah, that's Oracle of Delphi by the best board game designer working in the business today, Stefan Feld. It's in my collection. It'll be in there for the rest of my life, and hope you enjoy it too. And by the way, how about my avocado tree? My neighbor grew this from a pit. I got to give her a shout out. Her name is Sherry, and I planted it, and it's doing very well. So I'm really excited about this avocado tree. But hey, enjoy Oracle of Delphi also. Okay, number 4 on the Euro Dice Game Countdown is Santa Maria by Christian A. Atzby and Eilif Svensson. Okay, so it came out in 2017, plays 1 to 4 in 45 to 90 minutes, and that's pretty accurate. 2-player, about an hour. So now Christian Atzby has designed some other games that I have, Automania and the Escape series, Escape from the Temple and Escape Zombie City, but this one I consider to be his masterpiece. And in this game, you expand your colony by placing tiles on your colony board. Dice represent the workers and are used to activate a complete row of buildings on your player board. So you must carefully consider where to put new buildings and how to most efficiently make use of the dice. This is a dice drafting strategy engine building game. So there's about 12 dice in the game, blue and white dice. And there's only 3 rounds, so the game is going to end rather quickly. A lot quicker than you want it to, believe me. And so you're going to roll the white dice at the beginning of the round, and it has a place where you put them by the main board. And then players are going to take turns taking them if you wish. You don't have to, but it's something that you have to think about. If there's dice buildings you want to activate on your colony board, and those dice are have been rolled at the beginning of that round, you don't want to let the other players take those if you want to get those. So it's that planning thing. The decisions in this game are very tough, and you have to decide what you want to do. There's various ways to score, many paths to victory in this game, and I'm telling you, this game hits me right in my sweet spot for my wife and I, and we love playing it. This is a great game. Again, it's complex enough that you'll keep coming back for more, but the complexity isn't going to drive you away, and there are games that do that. But man, this is a great game. It's number 4 on the countdown, Santa Maria. Okay, number 3 on my Euro Dice Game Countdown is Castles of Burgundy by Stefan Feld. Came out in 2011, plays 2 to 4 players, 30 to 90 minutes. And the theme of this game is you're a 15th century princess from the Loire Valley, and you devote your efforts to strategic trading and building in order to keep your estate's prosperity and prominence throughout Burgundy. And here's the deal. You really can't say much else about the Castles of Burgundy that hasn't been said. This game is amazing. It's in the Bones Collector Hall of Fame, and I believe every gamer has this game in his collection. During the game, you roll 2 dice, and those 2 dice will determine what tiles you select off the main board. You put those on your player board, and it gives you benefits to keep building, making your estate more prosperous and bigger and better. So that's the theme of the game, and it's an amazing work of mechanical tapestry by Stefan Feld. I can't really say anything other than else that hasn't been said, except it's almost a perfect game. It's a game that I enjoy playing time and time again, and I'm in love with it. Castles of Burgundy, and if you the production is not the best. You know, it's Aaliyah Games, and if you saw my video that I posted recently about Carpe Diem, a lot of the complaints you can apply to this also. The production isn't great, but hey, the game is cheap, and sometimes that's okay. Hey, it's Castles of Burgundy. It's an amazing game, and it's number 3 on my Euro Dice Game Countdown. Number 2 on my Euro Dice Game Countdown is Trois. Trois came out in 2016, is designed by Sébastien Desjardins, Xavier Georges, and Alan Orban. It plays 2 to 4 players in 90 minutes, and I think you can get it done quicker than that, but anyways, Trois invites players to experience 4 centuries of history in this famous city in the Champagne region of France. It is a strategy game in which you represent a rich family using influence to recruit and supervise individuals from the 3 prominent domains: military, religious, and civil. There's 24 colorful dice in this box. Now, Trois is a game that when you roll those dice and put them in the central part of the board in different districts, the cool thing about this game is you can steal dice from other players. And so you choose however many dice you want, 1 to 3 dice, and there's a cost. You have to pay for them. There's an escalating scale depending on how many dice you take. That is part of the rules. But that's a pretty neat mechanism, because you'll be thinking about the dice that you need to take an action on the board, and lo and behold, one of your opponents is going to take that dice from you, and that really hurts, because you have to, of course, gather yourself up and make another plan. But that's what's really cool about this game, and this is probably one of my favorite games ever, Trois. It's a game that I never get tired of playing. It is small on the table, the board isn't all that big, and it's just, I don't know, there's just something about this game that makes you want to play it over and over again, because it's just so elegantly designed, it's so beautiful. You have to think really hard in it, and I like that. I hope you do too, because that's what makes you keep a board game, is one that puts you through intellectual paces. So yeah, Trois, great game. I'm in love with it, and I hope you try it sometime soon. Okay, number 1 on our Euro Dice Game Countdown is Manhattan Project Energy Empire. It came out in 2016, and it was my favorite game of 2016, by the way. Designers are Tom Jolly and Luke Laurie. Plays 1 to 5, so it's got a solo variant in here, and it plays from 60 to 120 minutes. And in this game, players are world leaders making pivotal decisions to guide their nation to prosperity. Build power plants, generate energy, and use your resources wisely, because only one nation will rise to become the greatest energy empire. Will it be yours? Hey, this thing has 24 colorful dice in it. They're beautifully engraved. It's a worker placement game. You're going to purchase the dice, and they have different energy levels on them, and the more energy you have, the more actions you're going to be able to take. So if you purchase the dice that give you the most energy, they also give you the most pollution, and you have to track that on your player mat, and it subtracts victory points from you. So the comparisons to CO2 are very real. I really love the theme of this game and CO2 Second Chance by Vidal Lacerda. But this game is amazing, and again, the theme is so relevant for today, and so beautiful. This is the type of game that I really love, because it's elegant in its play. The production quality is amazing. The artwork on the board, I mean, let's look at the box. The artwork in the game is spectacular, and again, those engraved dice that you get to roll are pretty amazing, and a lot of fun. So hey, that's the number 1 game, Manhattan Project Energy Empire. Something that, you know, again, I believe every board gamer should own. Once you play this thing, you'll want to play it over and over. It's a great game. Okay, you guys, that was my top 10 Euro dice games. Those games are so amazing. I'm just in love with every one of them. And you can rest assured, if you play one of those and you love that game, you're probably going to love all 10 of these games that I just showed you today, because some of them are older, but that's okay. Older sometimes is better. Yeah, see, just right here. I'm an example. But yeah, those games that I showed you are amazing. When you play them, you'll fall in love with them. I'm confident of it. Again, the dice mechanic in them just doesn't, you know, it's not the type of thing where you have to be a good dice roller to have a great turn, to have a great game, and to have a great time. So those are my top 10 Euro dice games. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please, please make sure you subscribe. I'm almost to 100. I love all 95 of my subscribers that are already on board. And you know, leave some comments at the bottom of the video if you have any questions about any of these games. I will get back to every one of you, I promise. And hey, have a great time. Keep on gaming, and you know, roll them dice. Bye-bye.